So has Liang Wenbo, who won through to play Ronnie O'Sullivan in the quarter-finals. No surprise, the 21-year-old from China was ecstatic at winning through to the last 8 on his Crucible debut.
I've never seen anything like that.
He'll learn a lot from that, you know. He'll learn a lot from that.
Unbelievable, absolutely.
He's only the 12th player to reach the last 8 on his Crucible debut. Friends were there to congratulate him. The phone from China started to ring. The other side of the coin very evident after Joe marched down a corridor to accuse his opponent of being unprofessional.
Because if that's the case, all he needed to do it. I could say that he couldn't see the yellow. I'm thinking, great, brilliant, I've got him in snooker. He's missed the snooker, coming off the cushion. All of a sudden, the referee puts him back. You know, I'm just taking it for granted, all right, he's still snooker, he's going to come off the cushion again. What happens? You can see the yellow, like 3/4 ball, come on. Somebody tell me what's going on here. But when you're right there, your mind's all scrambled. I don't know.
后面要赢，因为他追得比较猛嘛，决胜局我就什么没想，跟他拼了。
John and Steve can shed some light on the replaced cue ball. But first of all, well played both players. Great match.
Absolutely fantastic match. Great break building in there. Wonderful tension and a little bit of controversy near the end.
What do you think, Steve?
Well, it came down to so much excitement at the end, and of course Joe will have nightmares over missing that brown.
Now, do you have any sympathy with Joe?
In the incident, I think he thinks Liang Wenbo is full ball snookered in the first instance, and when he gets down and plays a totally different shot the second, he's quite surprised, and I don't think he's very enamoured by the situation. The cue ball, in my opinion, is definitely not in the same place it was the second time it was the first, and really should be up to the player. The player should know where the cue ball was. He's the one who's down on the cue.
Let's have a quick look at what we've got. We've got some footage of this. You can see that's the first attempt with the white ball. Now we're going to go to the second. You see the white ball is fractionally further up the table, which meant that Wenbo could see more of the yellow, which effectively made sure that he could play a different shot. First time he was forced in many ways to go off the side cushion. The second chance he could see more of the yellow, and he chose that he had a good try to get the white ball tight on the top cushion. So really, you know, he probably Wenbo knew that the ball was in slightly a different position.
Where does responsibility lie? 2 players and the referee out there. They want to get it right.
Well, generally, it's, as I said, it's the player himself. I mean, he should be the one who knows and gets it. I mean, Joe, in his chair, I mean, he didn't even question it. He just thought, oh, he snookered, play again, take the miss. The funny thing is, it's the rule as well. The rule's wrong in that situation, isn't it?
Well, in Wenbo's defence, right, first of all, he's 27 behind, he's 27 on the table. There's nowhere in the world he wants to miss. But the miss rule says that if a player needs snookers, it's a miss. Because he was 27 behind with 27 on the table, he doesn't need snookers. So therefore, it can be called a miss. But common sense says there's no way that Wenbo wants to miss this ball. So Wenbo can feel hard done by that the referee's calls a miss. The other part of the equation is, should it be the responsibility of the player to help the referee to put the ball back after he's called you a cheat, effectively, by saying you've missed it? So therefore, it's not as clear-cut as Wenbo, you know, bad sportsmanship. There's actually part of the rules that don't help the equation.
Well, Hawkeye can show us the shots that Wenbo was looking at and the way it changes. What do you feel about this, John?
He could see the yellow, couldn't he, John?
Yeah, he can see it. I mean, if this is the first attempt, but if he plays this shot, there's 3 things here. 1, it can roll off and hit the blue. 2, it can roll off, miss the yellow. And 3, looking at that angle, you could clip the yellow and going off. The second one, as you can see, is further down the cushion. You can now definitely see more of the yellow.
Well, Hawkeye reckoned that it had moved 18 millimetres. Is that absolutely accurate?
Well, it's obviously different. I think we saw from the side-on cameras as well that there was a difference in the shot, that you could see more of the meat of the yellow ball. But obviously from Joe's perspective, he wasn't happy at the press conference. But I still would go back to the point, he had a great brown to try.
Yeah. Are we questioning Wenbo's integrity?
To some extent, we are a little. But at the same time, the way the rules turned out, I mean, it's a very, very difficult situation. Ultimately, the player should know if it was right or wrong.
This is a 21-year-old in the Crucible on his debut, trying to deal with a big occasion. But could he have done it differently?
There are some people who will question Wenbo's sportsmanship in this situation. I don't think it's as clear-cut as that. But there again, there is a situation in the heat of the battle. The guy puts it back. Your opponent agrees, you go with the flow somewhat.
Well, Joe, of course. Joe clearly didn't have a problem, then he did have a problem. If you look at Joe's reaction, actually inside the Crucible, he seemed to say yes at first, John.
Yeah, and he didn't actually get up and walk behind the line of the shot, did he, to have a look at it? You know, sometimes when it's in that situation, you'll go up and have a look. He's having a little look now.
Now he's not sure, Steve.
He's not, yeah.
No, but that's why John said originally, if he thought it was a snooker, and then all of a sudden Wenbo goes and hits the ball easily, he's in shock there, and he can't really Wenbo's now saying, actually, I could see a bit of the yellow the first time, so that I wasn't totally snookered. And he explains to the referee that he could see a bit of the yellow. But obviously Alan Chamberlain knew that. It was just how much. It's about degrees of how much, and it does make a difference to the shot the player plays.
Well, that is it. The match is over, and I guess that'll be talked about for a while, but the result says that Wenbo is through.
And as Steve said, reiterating, at least he had a chance at the brown. The game was there for him to win, and he missed it.
So that match settled the quarter-final lineup, and here's who will play who.